Alright, y'all, so there it is, man. Canon M50 is now leaving us. I'm about to go drop this bad boy off at FedEx real quick, and then once I get back and I get a little bit of time today, because I got a couple of I got 3 open houses I got to go to today for school, since school start back this week. And then once I get back and get a little bit of time on my hands, we'll sit down and we'll chop it up about the M50 Mark II, and I give you guys like my final thoughts and everything about the M50 Mark II. All right, so let's go drop this off.
And you need tracking information on this?
Yes, sir. I appreciate that, if you don't mind.
You just need a cell phone number?
All right, guys. So there you have it. We dropped off the Canon M50 Mark II at FedEx. Got it knocked out. Got it done. Got the receipt and all that good stuff, man. Shouts out to Lance Reynolds for you know, the good work that they do, man. I really like their company. They ship fast, and they just easy to work with, man. So, you know, shouts out to Lance Reynolds, man. But hey, you guys saw. Make sure you cover yourself, though, because when you return certain things, you know, to companies and stuff, man, always make sure you get a date and time stamp. That's just food for thought. All right. Anyway, I got to get back to the house, get ready to go to all 3 of my kids' open houses, and then after that, we'll go ahead and wrap up that M50 Mark II. All right. I'll see y'all in a hot minute. All right, y'all. So this is about 2 days later now, and I finally got opportunity to sit right here and give you guys my final thoughts and verdict on the Canon M50 Mark II. I got a couple of quick little bullet points right here just to make sure that I, you know, touch on everything that I wanted to touch on. A couple of quick things is, number 1, my kids about to come out here and start sitting up because we're about to practice, and number 2, one of my neighbors across the way is cutting grass, so work with me. All right. So we're gonna do this as quick as we can. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is some of the pros. So first pro I got is the build quality. I did like the build quality of the camera, even though it feels like a little bit of a little toy. I feel like the Sigma 16mm paired with the M50 makes the camera, it gives the camera a little bit more weight, which makes it feel a little bit more premium. So if you go with that combination, which I do highly suggest that combination, you'll kind of understand what I mean by the build quality. But just in general, the build quality alone of the camera was good. Canon always makes pretty, you know, good cameras in general. But you know, it does feel like a toy. Right? It does feel like a little bit of a toy, but I still get the build quality, you know, like an 8. You know what I'm saying, like a 7.5 to an 8, only because it's very, very small and it does feel like a toy. But pairing a heavy-duty lens with it will give it that build quality feel that you're looking for. Another thing about the build quality is the grip. The grip is very small. You're gonna have a pinky that's gonna hang off that camera, so just be aware of that. But that's just kind of like food for thought. As far as the image pros, the image quality from the photos I felt was pretty good. I'm not a photographer. I'm trying to learn it a little bit more, but I feel like the image quality was pretty good coming out of the M50 in 2024. I feel like you can easily edit photos and get some really good shots, especially with the M50 and the 16mm. I feel like it looked really nice. Another pro was the video quality. I feel like that 1080-60 looked crispy. I'm gonna throw some B-roll over it when I was doing that video, like vlogging. That 1080-60 to me was crispy. And on top of that, the 1080-60 upscale to 4K was still crispy. So I feel like the video quality on that M50 Mark II is still good in 2024. I feel like if that camera was around, like if I had that camera right now and I saved it for about 4 or 5 more years, or I had it for 4 or 5 years from now, I feel like I could still use that 1080-60 upscale to 4K and people would still be fine with that, or at least I would still be fine with that. Or even just the 1080 in general. But that 1080-60 on that M50 with that 16mm Sigma, it was crispy, man. The next thing I put on here was ergonomics, and I put ergonomics because I was going to talk a little bit more about the grip and stuff like that, but I feel like I covered that already. But just to say it again, that grip, you're going to have that pinky hanging off that grip, so you know that's just to be expected. But if you put a cage on it, I feel like if you throw a cage on it, you might be fine. But if you're just rocking it with no cage, you're rocking it naked, then you're going to have a little bit of grip, not necessarily grip issues, but just understand that it's not going to give you like it's not a full deep grip. The camera's too small for that. You know what I'm saying? And then the last pro that I had was studio use. I feel like in the studio, I don't know if you guys saw that video, but I feel like in the studio, that camera does really, really well, especially under some controlled lighting. And as long as you dial your settings in all the way, you can get some good studio quality out of that camera, especially with that Sigma. That Sigma lens is a must with that M50. Those 3 Sigma lenses, I guarantee you, with that M50 in 2024, with them 3 lenses, you'll be fine. But as far as studio, office, you know, a small studio, you can easily get away with that 1080-60, upscaling it to 4K, or even just using the 1080-60 in the studio under some control lighting. You will be fine with that camera. I'm going fast as I can. Now we're on the cons, all right? So one of the first cons is that 4K. You can't use that 4K. I think it's the auto I think it is the autofocus is not that great with that 4K, so you just pretty much stay away from the 4K. So that 4K ain't even worth it. You know what I'm saying? Next would be no stabilization in the camera. So the camera doesn't have any IBIS, if I'm not mistaken. So you will have to have a lens that has some type of stabilization. It does have digital stabilization and all of that stuff, or electronic stabilization, whatever you want to call it. It does have that, but you know, it's pretty decent. I mean, if you watch that vlog video that I was doing when I was vlogging and taking photos and all that stuff, I had the image stabilization turned on at some point. And I feel like it did pretty well. But if you have a lens with some stabilization in it, I think you'll be fine. But if you don't, then, you know, just understand that the camera don't got in-body stabilization. No new lenses, so that's another con. So obviously that camera is, I'm gonna group these together. So no new lenses for the camera, and the camera is out of production. So I'm gonna put those two together. So obviously the camera's out of production, they don't make it anymore. So therefore there's not gonna be any more new lenses coming out for that camera. But the three lenses that you should take a look at if you do get the M50 would be those Sigma trio. If you can get the Canon M50 and start stacking up those three lenses, or getting each one of those lenses at a certain time, that camera with those three lenses, you'll be fine. So if you're just starting out and you don't want to spend a lot of money, go ahead and grab your Canon M50 Mark II with the Sigma 16 and you'll be fine. But that's one of the cons, man, is that they ain't making no more lenses because the camera's out of production. So, you know, that M mount is dead, so just understand that. Now, this is my last key point, but this is a bonus point, and it's a big ticket item. That's what I put on here, big ticket item. And I put used price is awesome. So if you go on eBay, you can find a M50 Mark II for like 300, and the lowest I've seen it now as of today was about 329. 4 days ago I saw it for 319, but today it was 329. So you can easily get the body of the camera for 329. You can easily get the 16mm Sigma for about 269 used, still in good condition. So if you throw that together, you running about what, 600 and something bucks, I think. You know what I'm saying, give or take. I'm not good with math straight off the top of my head, but you can get away with about 650 bucks. You can probably get that combination for about 650. Now there's a lot of other cameras out there that you can get around that price range, or even just throw another 200 on there and get something that's better than the M50 Mark II. But if you're just starting out, M50 Mark II Sigma 16, you'll be good to go. Now, another thing I put on here under the used price piece on eBay, as I put it's an easy camera, and that's my last point, to add to your camera stash. And what I mean by that is, think about, like I said, 4 or 5 years from now, when everybody's, you know, forgot about that camera even more, that would be one of those retro cameras that you can come back to and play around with and do some awesome stuff with, just to have fun with that small compact camera. Also, I feel like it's a good complement camera to a lot of these older Canon cameras. Like for instance, my Canon 90D, I feel like it does fit really well alongside the Canon 90D, because the Canon 90D is a big camera, and I feel like it fits very well with that camera. So just imagine it, you know, being a retro camera, being one of those cameras that people don't use anymore, and you just have one and you just like to play with it from time to time. And I know for a fact, 4 or 5 years from now, that 1080-60 on that M50 with that Sigma is still gonna look really, really nice. But again, what I buy to kind of close this out, man, would I buy the Canon M50 Mark II? I'm going to be trying out the ZV-1. It'll be here tomorrow. Today's Friday. The ZV-1 will be here tomorrow. I rented the ZV-1, not the Mark II, the ZV-E10, I'm sorry. I rented the ZV-E10 Mark I, not the Mark II, because I'm not interested in the Mark II at all. So I rented the ZV-E10 Mark I with the Sigma, just so I can test that out too. But to go back to the question, would I buy the M50 Mark II? Yes, 100%. I would buy the M50 Mark II, and it is still on my radar. Even though I'm going to check out the ZV-E10 Mark I with the Sigma as of tomorrow, we're going to have it for about 4 or 5 days. I'm still thinking about just grabbing that M50 Mark II, because there's something about that little camera that I just liked. And once I sent it back to Lens Rentals, I was kind of hurt. I was like, man, I really want to continue to use that little camera, man. I feel like it's just such a good little camera to complement my Canon 90D. And I don't know, man, after we check out this ZV-E10 Mark I with the Sigma starting tomorrow, you know, I'm gonna see what happens from there, man. But yeah, that's really it, guys. Hopefully this video made some sense to you guys. I just wanted to close out the M50 Mark II videos with this, you know, last little quick update, man. Hopefully the video has been helpful. Hopefully this whole M50 Mark II little journey that we was just on for the last couple of videos, hopefully it was pretty fun and interesting just to see an old camera like that. It's not a super old camera, but a camera that they don't make no more, just to see what they can still do in 2024. And again, stay tuned, man, because that M50 Mark II, I may piece that thing together and get it here in my office, man. I may piece it together. I may find me a cheap body, start with that, and then keep searching around for a couple of months until I can find the Sigma 16 at a steal, and then I might pounce on it. So, you know, just stay tuned for that. But tomorrow, ZVE 10 Mark 1 to be here, man. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that as well, man. Hopefully, again, this video has been helpful. If you found it helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, man. I'm gonna get out of here. It's been your boy Jay. Peace.